So I think some kind of pagan god of allergies just has it out for me today. I'm going to sound a little weird, but I do want to talk a little bit about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to make this video. I'm at a crossroads. I don't want to make videos about a game that I'm not excited about and just shit on it over and over and over again. However, I also do want to talk about things when there are things I like, or when there are elements that I think are a little problematic with that creation. That's kind of why I wanted to make this video about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I've already talked a few times about the Battle Pass ideology with this game. I've talked about games as a service elements. This game, however it does, is going to send a message to WB. It's just going to be a question of whether or not this is the message that you or I think it will send. This game is really shaping up to be very much a games as a service game. And a lot of people are going to say, well, Jay, it's not though. Like, if you watch the new trailer, you watch the new reveals, it's very clearly a narrative-based game. They talk all about that, yes, but everything around the narrative is very much games as a service, and that's what I want to talk about. And even if you love games as a service, I want to tell you why, for this property, it's frustrating to me, and it is frustrating to a lot of people. Because there's going to be some good here. There are things that I think look really interesting and fun about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Personally, I like shooters. I really do. I enjoy the old Call of Duty games. I love classic Halo, all the way up. I would even include through 4. Love it to death. I like Resistance, that series, Killzone, classic Killzone. My range of gaming, my taste of gaming, just like my taste of music, it's bizarrely wide, you know? I will listen to music, and sometimes I can be listening to something like Disturbed, and other times I can be listening to fucking Red Velvet, you know, like these little Korean girls dancing around in cutesy outfits. My gaming taste is the same. I can play games like Star Ocean, just a ridiculously long, in-depth JRPG, or Elden Ring, or Call of Duty. And there's no problem with people who are excited for this game. That's great. Good for you. But there is a very big problem I have with this game that was revealed with the pre-order page of the game, which is essentially that this game can be taken away from you at any time that WB wants to. Anytime WB Games decides, you know what, you're done playing Suicide Squad, it's over, too bad, it can be taken away from you. Because, like any always online game, which we've already confirmed is the case here, this game does say on the frequently asked questions page online, officially cited, that this game requires an internet connection, and I will read it to you directly. It straight up says, and I quote from their page on the Q&A, is an internet connection required to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? The answer, an internet connection is required to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League solo or for online co-op. We've covered that before. Jay, this is nothing new. Stop talking about it. No, because this irritates me, and I'll get to why. But even if this didn't irritate you, here's the real kicker. They have included in the pre-order page, and I quote, WB Games may modify or discontinue online services with reasonable notice at any time. This means if they wanted to, you could pay $100, which is what it is, for the deluxe version of this game. You would get everything that you wanted. You'd get your 72-hour early launch access. You'd get the classic outfits from pre-ordering. You'd get the Rogue outfits for the PS5 digital only. Of course, that's a thing now. PS5 digital only. It's not even just a digital only pre-order bonus. It's now a platform specific digital only pre-order bonus. You'd get your notorious weapons. You'd get a Battle Pass token. They're very blatant with the Battle Pass stuff here. Which I commend them for being transparent on it, but it's still frustrating. There are things with this game that are cool. For example, they said a lot of the content seasonally is going to be free. New characters, story updates, stuff like that, free. A lot of what is going to actually be in the Battle Pass appears to be cosmetics. If you don't give a shit about that, you don't care at all about cosmetics, good for you. For people like me, it's frustrating that this is not something you can just buy, right? Like with Spider-Man PS4 or Remastered or Spider-Man 2, depending on if it goes this direction, or even the old Arkham games like City, Night, Origins, you would buy DLC, and it would come with extra cosmetics. You would just get them. You wouldn't really have to earn them. They'd just be included, and you'd have that. Now, if, let's say, all of that DLC went away tomorrow. Now, the Batman Arkham games, they have a lot of different releases that are on disc. They do not require an internet connection, and let's just say, hypothetically, that the disc-based versions of the DLC didn't exist. So, let's say that the only way to be able to get all the cosmetics for City, Asylum, whatever, was just online. It was just through a digital marketplace. We'll pretend that the discs don't exist. The only discs or digital downloads that you have now are just the core games. Let's say tomorrow, all of the content around Arkham, all of the online stuff is just removed from digital marketplaces. It is gone. You would still, as long as you have that disc or you have the game digitally installed, you would still have a very big game, I would say. Like, no matter what game we're talking about, you'd still have a very big core experience with Arkham Asylum, or a very big core experience with City. You'd have a very big core experience with Night or Origins, whatever. You would have a game to play. Yes, it would be missing some costumes, some updates, some DLC, and that stuff sucks. That's something to talk about with game preservation that already irritates me. But I understand that the chicken has flown the coop on that one. But now we're getting to the point here where the game itself, if the internet went away, would be gone. According to their FAQ and according to what they're saying on this pre-order page, if they ever decide to shut down Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you lose the game. You don't get to play it anymore unless this is changed. And if this is changed, that would be great. Now, personally, I don't really think the Battle Pass model, I don't think the games as a service model, I don't think this kind of stuff fits games like this, nor did it fit games like Shadow of War, which was also under WB Games, where Monolith was basically bullied by WB Games, in my opinion, into kind of putting this games as a service loot box crap into the game. I don't think that things like that fit these games. However, I also understand the corporate argument. Their argument is, well, why do you accept it with other games? Like, you know, people will play Fortnite, and they'll make, Fortnite makes billions of dollars. Why can't we do that? I understand the argument from a corporate side to look at someone else and what they're doing and say, hey, that's not fair that they're making that kind of money. We should make that kind of money. But here's the thing. In what was it, 11 days, they sold something like 5 million units of Spider-Man 2 for PS5, and it was a PS5 exclusive game only on PS5, not launched on PC or anything else at the same time, and it is 5 million units sold at that time, 11 days in. If you make a good game, even if it's just single player, and you really market it, you push it, you get that good reputation, which WB Games, I think, does not really have anymore, and I think Rocksteady is squandering a little bit, especially since their co-founders, Sefton and Jamie, left. Well, if you don't have that kind of built-in goodwill, you don't have that kind of built-in hype to your new thing, and ride it well, yes, of course, you're going to have some problems. I truly think that if Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was a single-player game, worked offline, didn't have any of this stuff, and they just sold cosmetics in DLC packs, I don't think most people would have the problems that they have with this game. But it is a multifaceted problem that people have. I will fully transparently tell you right now, there are games as a service games or online-only games that I have enjoyed throughout my time existing. But I've also found that a lot of those games are fleeting. A lot of times I don't really return to them after a while because they're kind of pumped out like a fast food disposable experience. You play the game, you unlock stuff, you're having a good time during it, and then you move on. It's the Call of Duty multiplayer formula. It is the NHL or NBA or, whatever formula. It's this formula of getting you to play the game, getting you to spend more money, spend more time, spend more money, spend more time, and move on. And if you don't think that's what WB is going to do with this, they literally just admitted in a Q3 earnings call, which I made a video on this entirely separately, where they were talking about, and David Zaslav himself was talking about, how their focus with video games is going to be doing this games as a service, live service model, where they keep adding on to the game, trying to boost engagement, and instead of making these more condensed single-player games. That's not their focus anymore. Their focus is now moving towards this. And if you don't believe me, there are even job listings. Channels have made videos about this already. It's been floating around on Twitter as well, but there were job listings going around basically talking about Wonder Woman where there are actual job listings that suggest there could be live service elements to even Monolith's Wonder Woman game. WB Games is going all in on this, whether we like it or not. What frustrates me about this game is several things. First off, I don't think this fits that formula of game. This is put squarely in the Arkham universe. I will tell you this right now, if it wasn't, I wouldn't care as much. Here's why I care. Let's not sugarcoat it. Kevin Conroy passed away. The man is no longer with us. He is someone who really, really inspired a lot of people. I truly believe he was a good man. I truly believe that he wanted the best for people who were fans of his work. And I think that he lived by his word. He lived by the values that he preached. And I don't mean to just invoke him and be like, this is dishonorable to him. That's not really my point. My point is, one of the final performances of Kevin Conroy is going to be locked now behind a game that could at any moment be just taken away from you. You could spend $100, and a lot of people I know are going to spend money on this because of Kevin. Not because he made them or anything, but because they love his Batman, and his Batman is back. There are a lot of people who are going to buy this game because they grew up with the DCAU, they grew up with the Arkham games, they grew up with this character, this version of the character, and they want to be able to experience that performance. That's going to be a big draw for some people, is him just being here. Now that he's gone, to me this feels a little tacky and weird that they can just remove that performance from you at any time. Yes, you could go look up YouTube videos or whatever. That's not the same as playing through the game. Imagine if I came into your house, I took your copy of Spider-Man PS4, and I just walked away, and you said, but I wanted to play that again. I said, why don't you just watch a Let's Play? That's not the same thing. And I say that as somebody who does a Let's Play channel. The link is in the description down below. I have a fun time there. Let's Plays are fun. I like watching them sometimes too. But that's not going to be the same thing. It's such a weird situation we're in where they are marketing the game partially off of that performance. They are marketing the game off of its connections to Batman Arkham. They are marketing the game off of expanding this world and going to Metropolis. But then we know behind the scenes that they also didn't get to make a Superman game several times over at WB Games. We're not only missing out on that, where it was like this single player Superman game that was floated around. We're not only missing out on the Arkham Legacy idea, where it was supposedly going to be this Batman Beyond-esque game in the Arkham universe. We're not only missing out on all that, we are now locking, I would argue, if not the best, one of the greatest actors to ever play Batman, voice or otherwise, one of his performances, his final ones, behind a games as a service that can just go away. If you don't find that gross and weird, I do. But at least consider the fact that the game that you are purchasing to play can be removed at any time. There are games that I have enjoyed that are games as a service, but even with those games, I advocate that I would love there to be some kind of offline mode. I would love there to be a way to experience that in the future without it being games as a service. I enjoy games like Fallout 76. A lot of people meme on that game and hate it. I think it had a horrific launch, and I think it's since become a good game. But something that really frustrates me about it is that if in 20 years I wanted to revisit it, unless there's some change before the game dies, it will not be playable in that 20 years because it requires an online internet connection. The only difference is I don't have the same level of emotional investment in it where it's like one of my favorite actors ever who passed away, his performance is going to be locked behind it. You know, it's one of those things where it's like if I decide to spend my money on that game, well then when it goes away, and I chose that. That sucks, I don't want it to, but I still made that decision. I'm trying to highlight with this game that that is a decision that unfortunately people are going to be put in the shoes of making. Because if this game doesn't sell, I don't think it's going to send the message that we think it will to WB. WB is stupid. I'm sorry, but they are. Most companies, especially American ones for some reason, American and European-based companies, they don't understand how to listen to people. They don't understand how to actually evaluate the money that they made or didn't make. What they will do is they will have some kind of caveman-esque take on it. They will see, oh, people didn't buy Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And they will walk away with the idea people think the Suicide Squad is stupid and people don't want to play Arkham games anymore because this was in the Arkham universe. They don't walk away with the actual message of like, oh, people didn't support games as a service. You know, I honestly would not be surprised if when, you know, Marvel's Avengers kind of failed, if they walked away, not WB Games, but the people who created it, at Crystal Dynamics and Marvel and Disney and all them, I wouldn't be shocked if they walked away with the idea that people don't want Avengers games. Because it's like they can't actually understand what people are saying, which is weird to me because it's everywhere. All over the internet, filling the comment sections, filling Twitter threads, Reddit, everywhere. People are saying, hey, what about game preservation of this game? Like, I like the gameplay loop. I like the way that Harley Quinn looks. I like the character interactions. Because those are things I like in this trailer, in the new gameplay reveals. Like, for example, the new classic skins look awesome. Shouldn't be locked to pre-orders, but they're awesome. The new movement system, traversal, looks awesome. I think it's really cool. The shooting looks fun. It's like people are acknowledging a lot of these things. Some people, it's not going to be for them. That's cool. That's fine. But there's a lot of people who are acknowledging like, hey, I think these things look good. But what about the preservation of this game? What about this story? What about these performances? What about this universe? You're adding on to a universe. You're adding on to a world and you're making a big deal about expanding it. Well, what if I want to revisit that world in the future? The fact that I can pop in Arkham Asylum, even a Xbox 360 disc, and competently play through the game now on a machine that runs fine and it doesn't really have any major issues, that's awesome. You know, that's something that people do. Even the people who are like really young gamers who are like, I don't care, I'm just going to play the newest, best thing and then I'm going to move on. You need to understand that there are a lot of people who do go back and play those things. The same way that people go back and listen to music that's more than 2 years old. The same way people will go back and watch the original Star Wars trilogy, even though it's from, basically the late 70s into the 80s. It's not like old thing bad really means anything. A lot of people do want to go back and re-experience these things. My big frustration and criticism of this game so far is that they've not only now admitted that it's an internet-only game, but they've admitted that they can remove the game at any time. Unless these things change, this is kind of a deal breaker. And I want to know your thoughts on this. I know a lot of people follow this channel because they like Arkham stuff. I have since I would say my original 50K subscriber base, who I do still appreciate, I have since moved on to doing a lot of other stuff. Many of you don't find it interesting. That's fine. I'm going to keep doing it because I enjoy it. But I don't really feel like... I don't know what to feel like with this game. It's like, do I buy this game because you guys want to see content on it? Because you guys want to see the game? Do I buy this game because I enjoy the characters and I enjoy the world and I really want to see Kevin's performance because that's probably the thing that's the biggest to me? Or do I just pass on it? Because I truly feel like if I pass on it, I'm just telling WB that I don't care about the world anymore because they're too stupid to actually hear the real message behind why people are critical of this. I don't have anything against people who buy the game. In fact, I'm on the fence of what I should do, which is why I'm asking you your opinion about what I should do and what you're going to do. Because I really don't know. I don't think they're going to get the message from this. Either it's success or negativity. It's like they hear what they want. If it's successful, they'll think this formula works. If it's not successful, they'll say people don't like the squad and people don't like the characters and people don't want to play the world anymore. They're too dumb and too dense to actually understand what people want. They showed that with Gotham Knights recently, and now WB Games is showing that with this. Yes, that was WB Games Montreal. It's still under the WB Games publisher, and they are the ones pushing a lot of these decisions. And frankly, even though, Jamie Walker and Sefton Hill said that they left on amicable terms, and I'm not trying to call them liars, that's something that pretty much everyone says in business. I would not be surprised if this push and shift towards service-based fast food style games is part of what caused people to leave Rocksteady who did work at it and did help make the old games what they were. I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. Are you excited for this game? Are you not? My whole point with a video like this is not to just be like, game bad, if you buy it, I hate you. My whole point is that it's frustrating to me as someone who cares about these things to see a future where my kids or grandkids or, I don't know, other kids in the future, if I don't have any, they won't be able to play this game because of the requirements to actually play it. You can't tell me this thing will be around in 50 years. It just won't. It never happens. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I talked a little bit about Let's Plays in this. If you do enjoy Let's Plays, I actually have a channel where I play through games. That is Degenerate Plays. The link is in the description down below. And finally, I do now have a P.O. box. If you want to send a letter, a video game, a movie, anything fun like that, cool things, I really do appreciate it. I will have the P.O. box in the pinned comment in this video. I'm frustrated. I'm really frustrated because there's stuff here that I really like, but I just don't think this fits this franchise or this world. So, have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.